it's a community aspect of holding yourself accountable with others. And I knew that doing 75 hard is not longevity for me. I think it could be for some people, but I don't think it is for many people on this planet, because it's kind of overkill optimization. But what it did was it gave me a goal and an end goal with it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to do 2-a-day workouts the same capacity, but for 75 days I will, and I want to see a definitive result. But I'm not going to stop working out. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The other 2 people did things differently on the end of it. One guy kind of continued with wanting to like get a 6-pack and work through it longer, not have the exact same structures. And the other guy was like, just last couple of weeks, I can't wait to drink. I can't wait to not do this. Mm-hmm. He is up 25, 30 pounds in weight since we had stopped doing it, which was September. So September to now January, right? He's now basically just regressed back to whatever it was before. Wow. So I made good gains in that time. Like I got really shredded. I got stronger, mentally more clear. Like it was challenging. It wasn't the hardest thing I've ever done, but keeping that consistency for 75 days is the test, not necessarily just doing it once.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I was like, I want to maintain this at some level. So I wanted to continue at least maintaining what I'd gained instead of just regressing. So I think setting it an overly ambitious goal short term is not necessarily terrible. It doesn't need to be on January 1st, and it doesn't need to be if you've been on the couch. Like do something that's not even a short-term gain, but just a short-term consistency, and make that a long-term consistency, and then say, okay, now I'm going to challenge myself.
Yeah.
Do a competition. Train for something specific. Instead of just jumping couch to something else, you're like on the worst end of it, you get injured and you can't do something. And on the best, you just fail it.
Yeah.
And you have to start over.
Yeah. It's like stacking like small wins,
Exactly.
If your goal is too ambitious off the jump, like it's going to be, even like you mentioning, like someone goes hard for 75 days. There's like a viral tweet out there somewhere. It's, you don't need 75 hard. You need 300 days normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you can maintain that.
Uh-huh.
And I think 75 hard it's a cool idea. And like for someone like you, doing it at the time that you did it makes sense, because It's like you're looking for a challenge, and like you already have a base of fitness and discipline. But to go from 0 to that, like that's so difficult to do.
Well, and with that too, like, so one thing, like one goal that I have is which I think I told you this when I said, hey, I'm going to get my CPT, right? Like I want to have some training background that I can actually leverage with people, whether that be for like a monetary value or just for my education for like our Pose app.
Yeah.
Either or, I just want to have more education on it and have another, challenge that's just not a physical challenge with experiences. So, I want to make a program that is 75 days. I have to be careful with the branding here.
Right.
But I want to make one because there is no program around it. So like, because I've had a lot of good experiences and a ton of background knowledge and testing and like 15 years of lifting, it's not hard for me to go in the gym and make a workout. And I could do 2 a day and I don't even have to think much about it. I'm like, okay, well, this body part sore for this reason, because I did this the last couple days. Let me make these adjustments, right? But there's no workout program. So like that program's really tough. And if you have no experience, it's brutal because you're just winging it. And you're winging it and testing it in the most, like, I'm not going to say advanced way, but 2 workouts a day. So at the minimum, one of them is going to be walking outside and the other one's going to be whatever else you can make up. But that's really hard to 7 days a week of a minimum 1 strength training workout that you're trying to make up. And it could be anything else than strength training too. So like I have a goal of writing a program for somebody to do it at home where, minimal entry point of equipment, because you're doing 2 a days. It might be working out late, but it gives a structure behind the program itself, because I thought it was a good challenge that most people can't do. But I think it's another layer when you don't have a fitness background and you're trying to do something that's very heavy fitness. I mean, that's just ambitious as hell. And the guy that started it, he's very challenging to people in this way. Like if you've ever heard him talk about it, he basically says, he's like, don't say you're going to try 75 hard because you've already failed.
Yeah.
The minute you say you're trying it, you're already out the door.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little extreme to do that because the average person doesn't necessarily have the mental fortitude, which that is the challenge, but they also don't really have the education to actually schedule out random programming. No. Like if you were to take your programs that you do at the highest level, That's not every day, but let's say it is every day for 75 days. If you just gave that to somebody and it was 1 week, and then they're just like, I'm just going to do that for all 75 days. Something's going to go wrong somewhere. Yeah. They're going to blow out their knee just because they've done too many leg days. So it's very, very dynamic when you set a very ambitious goal still.
Oh yeah. There's a lot to it. And I mean, that's part of the reason that I even have a job, you know, it's because like, I mean, the person I had a client today and she told me, she was like, I just don't know what to do.